Thank you to our witnesses for being here today, and I want to take a moment to thank Chair Bill Arrakis for his exhaustive process over the past year to bring parties together. Recognize my colleagues, Representative Dingell and Senator Lujan, an alum of this committee, for their work with Chair Bill Arrakis to find a path forward on this important issue. Every one of us takes pride in the universities and colleges in our home states, and we all want our student athletes to be successful both on and off the field. Today's hearing is the next step in our regular order process. This is an opportunity to continue the dialogue, address outstanding concerns, and hear from the student athletes who will benefit most from a clear set of uniform rules and protections. To ensure that amateur athletes have every chance to succeed in life and in sports, we must give them clear guidance. Today, we have the opportunity to hear from several of those athletes. Ms. Meredith Page, a Division I volleyball player at Radford University. Kiki Thrall, a member of the University of Michigan softball team. And Mr. Chase Griffin, a football player at UCLA. And we appreciate you being here to share your stories with us. Your experience navigating this complex topic is critical as members work to refine the discussion draft under consideration. The current patchwork of state laws is confusing for athletes, schools, and conferences alike, and it's unreasonable to expect student athletes to balance their studies while navigating this maze of complex and conflicting laws. They are put in an unwinnable position of running afoul of rules they would need a law firm to provide counsel on. This can be detrimental to their educational experience as well as their savings and future career. I recently heard about a draft NIL agreement with a collective which agreed to pay an athlete $1.5 million over 2 years. Hidden in the fine print was a provision which allowed the collective, quote, from time to time, to ask for repayment of that money plus a 10% interest for commission and expenses. These provisions applied even if that agreement were to be terminated. This behavior is abhorrent, predatory, and is exactly what we're trying to prevent with this legislation. With one national standard, we can shield student athletes from such bad actors, provide transparency into the evolving NIL marketplace, and allow athletes to focus on succeeding on the field and in the classroom. We need to get this right in order to protect the rights of millions of young Americans who continue receiving an education and competing in the sports they love. Furthermore, while some sports at the highest level are profitable, for most student athletes competing in sports, it's a non-revenue generating endeavor. Many of these programs continue to be paths for students pursuing higher education and for some to even represent our country to the world. For instance, in the 2020 Tokyo Games, over 80% of the U.S. medalists had ties to a collegiate program, with more than 170 U.S. institutions of higher learning being a training ground for the Olympians. Some proposals currently being discussed, along with the uncertainty created by a patchwork of state laws, jeopardize these opportunities for young people and could prevent them from accessing a college degree program. It would mean that many small schools, including historically black colleges and universities and others, could be forced to eliminate their sports programs altogether. Our proposal would ensure these programs are preserved for student athletes across the country. These collegiate athletes are more than just athletes. They're students, small business owners, podcasters, entrepreneurs, and more. They deserve clear guidelines and transparency. NIL is a long overdue means of compensation for student athletes across the country. Every student athlete deserves the opportunity to succeed in their sport and in life. There are many other important conversations currently happening in collegiate sports that aren't necessarily specific to the issue of NIL, for instance, Title IX, which other committees are actively engaging on. As we continue this discussion, I encourage all of my colleagues, House and Senate, as well as stakeholders, to work with us in providing the best protections and opportunities possible for our student athletes. Thank you. I yield back.
I think the chairwoman